what is a very lively story. I'll read a very short story. Uh, if you love openly. That's the name of the story. 20 monks and one nun meaning the lady monk, who was named Eshun, were practicing meditation with a certain Zen master. Eshun was very pretty, even though her head was shaved completely and her dress very plain. Several monks secretly fell in love with her. One of them wrote her a love letter insisting upon a private meeting. Eshun did not reply. The following day, the master gave a lecture to the group, meaning of the 20 people, and when it was over, Eshun arose. Addressing the one who had written her, she said, "If you really love me so much, come on and embrace me now." That's where the story ends. Any reflection from any of you? Very simple story. There's no, uh, no sort of, what you say, greater wisdom or something.
Yeah, good one.
So express them there openly.
Express openly, yes. And beautifully, she has used the word, not secretly. If you really love me, come and embrace me now. Very openly, she was saying. And this story I've read in some other books with a bit of changes and all. I think this would be the original version. This book is more trustworthy. There were other things like, they've added master saying something, this thing. I don't know how far that is reliable. If not more any reflection, we'll move to another story.
Yeah, just a brief reflection, maybe.
Please,
So,
please.
embracing openly means
Hmm.
you're showing courage and you're showing
Yeah,
that you're truthful, right?
yeah, yeah.
Without courage and without integrity, love cannot exist.
Beautiful.
So, I think that is what she's trying to say.
Beautiful. Yes. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. The courage, love should be backed up with courage and openness. Of course, love is very natural in nature, which means it shouldn't be concealed or it shouldn't be what you call, the real love. It's like how nature loves us. It should be, not should be. Again, there's no should with love, and it is natural, and it is evident, and it doesn't require any veil, or it doesn't require any secrecy. So I'll go to another story. Okay, fourth story I'll read. It's also a short story. Obedience. Let me just see. Oh goodness. Okay, this is also a very light story. We can enjoy it easily. The story is named Obedience. The master Banki's talks were attended not only by Zen students but by persons of all ranks and sects. SECT, a sect. He never quoted sutras nor indulged in any scholastic dissertations. Instead, his words were spoken directly from his heart to the hearts of the listeners. His large audience anchored a priest of Nichiren sect because the adherents had left to hear about Zen. The self-centered Nichiren priest came to the temple determined to debate with Banki. "Hey, Zen teacher," he called out. "Wait a minute, whoever respects you will obey what you say. But a man like myself does not respect you. Can you make me obey you?" Then Banki said very calmly, "Come up beside me and I'll show you." Proudly, the priest pushed his way through the crowd to the teacher. Banki smiled. "Come over to my left side." The priest obeyed. "No," Banki said. "We may talk better if you are on the right side. Step over there." The priest proudly stepped over to the right. Then Banki said, "You see, you're obeying me. And I think you are a very gentle person. Now sit down and listen. And this is a story of obedience. Anyone would like to share anything on that story? This is very much in line with the first story. Empty your cup, the professor who visited. It's close to that. It is more or less, how to discard ego, or maybe the priest had to probably empty his cup or something. I mean, if few of you could speak out, it would be great.
Come on, guys. I will always have something to say, but I want the other listen to the others.
Yeah, if more people speak, it will be better to learn then. It's
Come on,
always
Mani sir. Say something.
Mani sir is very quiet. What happened, sir? I mean, you belong to that
He's in Zen
marrow.
meditation.
It seems that the fourth, what do you say, the fourth, there's a fourth
Yeah, he's a married
disciple,
guy. Yeah.
marrow, that he belongs to that. Silence, Mani sir.
Ajit sir, I was just listening, hearing your voice. So long time no see. So I wanted to be in the training hall wherever you are teaching. I wanted to be there. I am not listening. Actually, I'm not following. I'm sorry for that. I have some other
Oh,
distraction
really?
also.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
I wanted to be in your class, so I'm
I mean, I will
inside the
share
class.
the record, sir. No worries.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone would like to share, or else I'll just move on to next story. Shripriya, ma'am,
Yeah, I mean,
I think you will
this is
save me.
also yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the corporate or listen also, right? When you're trying
Okay.
to make someone listen to you,
Hmm.
do it without them realizing that you're commanding them, right?
Yeah, beautiful.
Like,
Yes, yes.
most of the times in family relationships also, husband don't realize how
Hmm.
much they listen to the wife. Like they
Yes,
think they
yes.
are the ones who are commanding,
Yes,
but like, like if, so even in office relationships, right? Like don't,
yes,
like you can always get things done without telling the other person, I want you to obey me, right? Listen to me, right?
yes.
You can make it look as if it is their decision to do something. Yeah.
Very true. That is actually the crux of the story. Maybe that's what many masters nowadays also do when they use this conversational hypnosis or something, or counselors when they do non-directive principles, like uh, it won't sound like an advice, or it won't sound like making someone obey you what you say. Rather, you give space to the person, which is very important. And then again, another side of that story is from the point of that from the point of view of the priest. Uh, he was actually unconsciously he was following the guru. He was filled with a lot of what you say arrogance. Probably he was filled with pride, which took him off from his present reality, from his here and now. So he was
Yeah, he
unconsciously,
didn't realize what he was doing.
exactly.
Like, yeah.
He was unconsciously following the master. Master was very observant. He was very keen. He was actually he was pinned to the present. Completely, he
Mm-hmm.
was present in the present, and he spoke with
Yeah.
utmost respect. Something which is very important in this
Mm-hmm.
story. Yes, sir. Any of you? I think some of you. It would be nice if more people will speak. Father Roxon, I mean, you can speak in any language. I think it is fine. When we speak out our heart, it need not necessarily be in English always. I dare to say, because none of us are Chinese, or any language which is completely unknown to us. Okay, let me just to move to another story. Great waves. Eighth, it is the eighth story. This is actually a very beautiful story. I like this very much. And most of the stories we'll understand better if know these language, because in Chinese or Japanese, this name, each of these name has got some meaning. So we may not be able to comprehend to that level. So great waves. In the early days of Meiji era, there lived a well-known wrestler called Onami. Great waves. His name was meant great waves. Onami was immensely strong and knew the art of wrestling. In his private bouts, he defeated even his teacher. But in public, he was so bashful that his own disciple threw him. Onami felt he should go to a Zen master for help. Hakuju, a wandering teacher, was stopping in the little temple nearby. So Onami went to see him, this master Hakuju, and told him his trouble. This is my trouble. He's excellent in terms of the art. He's excellent in terms of the skill, but then he cannot perform. While in practice, he's perfect. While in performance, he can't beat even his disciples. Great waves is your name, the teacher advised. So stay in the temple tonight. Imagine that you are those billows. You are no longer a wrestler who is afraid. You are those huge waves sweeping everything before them, swallowing all in their path. Do this and you will be the greatest wrestler in the land. The teacher retired. Onami sat in meditation trying to imagine himself as waves. He thought of many different things. Then gradually he turned more and more to the feeling of the waves. As the night advanced, the waves became larger and larger. They swept away the flowers in their vases. Even the Buddha in the shrine was inundated. Before dawn, the temple was nothing but the ebb and flow of an immense sea. In the morning, the teacher found Onami meditating, a faint smile on his face. He patted the wrestler's shoulder. Now nothing can disturb you, he said. You are those waves. You will sweep everything before you. The same day, Onami entered the wrestling contest and won. After that, no one in Japan was able to defeat him. It's a beautiful story, actually. Great waves. The name is Great Waves. Onami, probably the name in Japanese means great waves. And you would like
Tsunami, right? Tsunami,
tsunami.
like Onami.
Tsunami is waves, and Onami, oh is great, probably. Thank you, ma'am. And before speaking out, one thing, many of these words, this is actually a translation from original Chinese to English. So what happened is that translated seemed to be, he might be a person from China, so there could be some words which may not exactly suit to that context, but then we have no other go. We understand the flow of the story and understand it. Some of the words or some of the expressions may not be as as clear as what is it written in Chinese. So great waves onami could be the story name in Chinese. Anyone would like to speak? I feel like I should speak every
Yeah,
time, or Sri Priya ma'am.
yeah,
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 please.
Ajit.
Thank you.
So,
Please.
so Ajit, what are these
Yeah,
waves
so
actually?
Yes, Kumaran.
Kumaran sir, please go on. After that, Ashita.
Oh, okay, okay, thanks. No, no, what are these waves actually, and how did it help them to defeat?
Waves. Actually, in this story, his name happened to be Onami, which means great waves. So we can find out very fine parallels like the wave nature of existence. That way, we can maybe think of that, maybe metaphorically or metaphysically rather. Here,
Yeah.
plainly, the name means great, the great waves. So he is actually identifying himself with his name, and thereby the great waves of the ocean, and getting the attributes of
And
those waves.
so that quality made him to defeat. That's what you
That
mean to say.
exactly, that quality made him to win any wrestling matches for that matter.
Ashita?
Ashida, you speaking?
Yeah.
Please, yeah.
So, can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah. So I was telling that he probably used the visualization technique, right? So
Hmm.
the power of his name, he just
Hmm.
closed his eyes and then he thought how powerful, like the waves,
Hmm.
how powerful he is, or
Hmm.
the power of his mind. So he visualized him, being that powerful, and then
Yeah.
probably that is what helped him overcome the
The actually,
that fear.
yeah,
Probably there was always a fear, probably in
in
within,
him, yeah.
which he
Beautiful.
was able
Thanks.
to overcome. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was looking at it as
Huh.
maybe a building of self-esteem, and
Okay.
self-confidence.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So, like visualizing, like Ashita said.
Hmm.
So, as the waves, as he visualizes the waves, he builds
Huh.
his own self-esteem, which grows bigger.
Ha ha.
And then once you feel good about yourself,
Ha.
and you have the confidence in yourself, then you're able to deal with
Yes.
things.
Yes. Huh. Thank you, man. Thank you. So how he is able to probably overcome his own kind of what is a definition. Ma'am, would you like to speak?
Who are you
I
asking,
mean,
Shripriya?
Sripriya, ma'am, are you there?
No, no, I think I reflect the same opinion. I mean, the
Okay.
wave
Yes.
to me, it reflects your like self-confidence, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
your, I mean, all these objects like the flowers, even the Buddha statue, right? There are a lot of
Yes.
things around us which are sometimes our obstacles, right?
Yes. Yes.
I'm not saying Buddha statue is an obstacle, but generally there are a lot of things that either are obstacles or deviations, distractions, right?
Yes. Yes.
But you have your willpower to
Yeah.
kind of that overflows and kind of
Yes.
submerges all those obstacles and moves forward, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's the visual that I get with this yeah,
Yes.
waves thing.
Oh,
And
that's lovely, Shripriya.
this
I
really, I
never
mean,
thought of the obstacles as the flowers in the vases falling off and being swept away. Yeah,
yes. Yes.
so
Yes.
nice.
May I just read that once again? Like, as the night advanced, the waves became larger and larger. They swept away the flowers in their vases. Even the Buddha in the shrine got inundated. Before dawn, the temple was nothing but the ebb and flow of an immense sea. Uh, I would like to add a little more on this one. It is more than a visualization. It goes even beyond that. Visualization means there is an implied meaning that you are visualizing something, you are creating something. It is more than a visualization. It is a virtualization, and it is an identification. I see it in that level actually, because if we look at this person, Onami is really identifying himself with the waves. He Because his identity was very well defined, very narrowly defined as a wrestler, as a skilled wrestler earlier, and he was caught up in that box of a skilled wrestler who can beat anyone. But it is not happening probably in the bars, inside the rings. So which he probably, because of he being caught up in that definition, so he kind of breaks that definition, visualization, meditation, and he gets into a level where it becomes his value or virtue. From visualization to virtualization to identification, to a level where he literally become waves. He is not at all a wrestler. He is not at all this person. He is not at all this 50 kilo, 100 kilo, whatever. He is literally becoming the wave which bashes away anything and everything in front of it, which means the he gets into his, his being state with no such judgments, no such definitions, which kind of what you say limit him, which
Yeah, that's an important, that's an
uh,
interesting perspective, right?
which is actually
He doesn't
limiting.
box himself into
Huh.
that I need to win thing, right?
Yeah,
Like I'm the wrestler.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because I need to win. That judgment comes when there is this dichotomy of winning or losing, guru or disciple, or what you say. That beautifully they have mentioned about. He used to beat his master in the practice, but he used to fail um, with his disciples in the ring, when the disciples could easily, his own pupils threw him easily. So their hierarchies come in, right and wrong, good and bad, or win or so he gets into that dichotomy, which is again very much judgmental, or very much, very much it holds the expectation. He carries unnecessary, carries the burden of expectation. A wrestler is meant to win, a wrestler has to be so, which ultimately make him lose himself, actually what he is. So that is probably the beauty of this story, and he identifies, as Kumaran was beautifully, we need to look at waves in a very because it speaks about the amplitude of the waves. The waves become larger and larger, so obstacles cannot grow like that, because obstacles are again physical beings. Waves become larger and larger where the obstacles are nothing. So there are a lot of connotations we could go on. If we see, it has got a literal quality as well. And wave again is a, metaphysically speaking, wave again is probably a nature of matter. It is not completely off from matter. It is a state of being of matter. With every solid there is an attached wave, is what the dual nature of existence says. Anything more to add on this, or
Yeah, I was thinking the other
yeah,
way
please.
about that. After doing the night penance, he will go and embrace the wrestler and
Huh.
surrender.
Exactly. He is no longer a wrestler. Once that is done, he become the waves, and he's owned by the sea. So he's driven by the sea, driven by the ocean, which is again, I need not say, how powerful ocean is. He's not.
I actually love the smile on his face after
That
after he said.
maybe the
So I
realization. Yeah. Yes. Beautiful.
yeah.
There's a smile. I would try to read it. Just a faint smile on his face. Beautifully said. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
You have that.
Ashish.
You have that presentation or any smile face?
In the sense,
No, I visualized.
Okay. No,
okay.
no, no. Because in some book they used to give the image, right? So I was
No, this
asking is
is
there any?
no. This is just text only. Oh, thank you, Ruba. Thank you so much. Shall we move on to another story? A moon cannot be stolen, which is again a beautiful story. The very next story. Um, Ryokan, a Zen master, lived in the simplest kind of life in a little hut at the foot of a mountain. One evening, a thief visited his hut, only to discover that there is nothing in to steal. Ryokan returned and called him. "You may have come a long way to visit me," he told the prowler, "and you should not return empty-handed. Please take my clothes as a gift." The thief was bewildered. He took the clothes and slunk away. Ryokan sat naked watching the moon. Poor fellow, he mused. I wish I could give him this beautiful moon. Such a beautiful story. I don't know. So, would you like to just reflect on this? It's actually a beautiful story. One of the beautiful story in this.
I think this is the best of whatever you've said so far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also feel so. Such a beautiful story.
Ajit, do you mind repeating it, please?
Ah, okay, okay. Ryokan, a Zen master. The story is named "The Moon Cannot Be Stolen." A Zen master, lived the simplest life, kind of life, in a little hut in the foot of a mountain. One evening, a thief visited his hut only to discover that there is nothing in it to steal. Ryokan returned and called him. You may have come a long way to visit me, he told the prowler, and you should not return empty handed. Please take my clothes as a gift. The thief was bewildered. He took the clothes and slunk away. Ryokan sat naked, watching the moon. Poor fellow, he mused. I wish I could give him this beautiful moon. That's how it ends.
It's beautiful.
So, would you like to say something, Ashi?
So he mean
Yeah.
to say that that experience of the moon he cannot give to that person more than what he have given material.
In the sense, sorry?
No, he was not able to give the experience of the moon than the materialistic thing which he has given.
Could be that way. Could be that way also. We could actually, moon is a metaphor here. Clearly, moon is a metaphor, no doubt. And maybe we
No, no,
can say,
I'm trying to see the act of giving. What for else he can give, right? That's the subject. More than the materialistic thing. What
yeah,
for?
exactly. That is what the infiniteness of the moon, or the what exactly moon depicts, is what the reflection of the story itself is. So if we see moon, the major thing with moon is reflecting. Moon is filtering sun's rays, and her sun's rays are really hot. It kinds of filters and cools it off, and it reflects it to the people. And moon is again, if you take in Zen tradition, moon, pond, these things are usually used metaphors, in the sense, the moon is,
Yeah, what is a metaphor? I'm thinking of this as like, but clearly the Zen master also does not have the moon in his hand, right? Moon
yeah,
is
yeah,
available for everybody, right?
yeah,
So I'm thinking the metaphor that I'm thinking is it is his inner joy, right?
yeah,
Whatever joy that he is able, like nobody can steal your inner joy. No,
yes,
they can
yes,
steal
yes,
whatever you have external factors, but
yes,
what you have internally nobody can steal, right?
exactly,
um so I kind of, that metaphor for me is like his content, his peacefulness, his inner joy.
yeah.
That is what is metaphorically
And
referring
maybe one
as
more thing. One
moon.
more thing is there is the beauty. Moon is again the feminine beauty, that
Yeah,
feminine beauty of being.
the feminine beauty of being.
Being.
Why is it feminine?
Moon is generally seen as feminine, and sun is masculine. That's where, just, in stories, when we see moon also, this moon is kind of filtering.
Mm.
It is actually
Okay, so
absorbing,
you're cooling. Yeah, okay.
filtering
Okay,
it,
you're thinking that way. Okay.
and it is reflecting at the same time. So moon is on
Mm.
reflection. Moon is more natural because, what would I say? The moonlight is like a sea on the land.
Mm.
It actually
Okay.
soothes the day, the earth, or the day, or the atmosphere, which has got really really warmed up by moon throughout the day. So it is that feminine, probably feminine. Let's not. Let me
Mm.
not repeat that. At least it is that which compassion, that which, kinds of soothes everything, which made him act
Yeah.
in a certain way to the thief who came to steal something from him.
Yeah. I see the beauty in the world, but he's not able to see it,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That way.
And I
Like,
cannot
yeah.
give him that thing that he's sad about.
Like,
He's
yeah.
actually empathizing with the person.
Mm.
How limited this person is.
Mm, mm, mm.
Which is again, and moon. And this is probably as you said, ma'am, this is probably the best story as of now we have read. This could be the.
So what is
Yeah.
title of the story?
The moon cannot be stolen.
Yeah.
Actually, the thief visited this master's hut to steal something, and the master had nothing to give, but then he gave his clothes. He removed his clothes and stripped himself and gave the clothes to him, and you take this. And he is actually kind of, would you say? thinking, poor fellow, I would have given him this beautiful moon, which I cannot. That's how the
Yeah,
story.
there is not two people. I'm seeing three people in this story.
Yeah, yes.
So one is the moon, one is the
Huh.
master, one is the thief.
Yes, yes.
So for him only master is visible.
Huh.
So he is asking, so master is giving. The
Yes.
other person is also with master.
Huh.
So he is not able to see the other person, that is moon,
Hmm.
which is an eternal thing.
Yeah.
As Sri Priya mentioned,
Huh.
it's the joy of giving,
Huh.
sharing gives happiness, more and more happiness.
Yeah.
Even after giving his clothes, he will be finding something to give it to the thief if thief asks for.
Yeah.
So the more you give, the more happiness he will be having. So that cannot be stealed.
Yeah.
And his partner is moon.
Yeah. Beautifully
So
said,
this is my
Mani sir.
perspective.
Beautifully said. Uh, I would say this here, as you said, now there are two things, especially one that dress he gave away. That's a material thing, which is quite wanted, which is a basic need. Whereas this moon, which is ever pervading, ever it is there. It's the representation of abundance, joy, abundance of joy, abundance of kindness, compassion, empathy, which is just pervading like moonlight, but then it is not seen, or which is not wanted at all. Actually, it is not in demand, but then this small silly material thing is highly demanded. Whereas this person, this master, he owns the moon and the moonlight, but he can't give
So
it.
Aju,
Yes, please.
Aju, the
Huh,
last line, right?
huh,
Like he was looking at the moon and telling,
huh,
right, that
huh.
I can't give you or something like that, right?
Yeah, that
On
is
those
what, poor
lines.
fellow. I wish I could give him this beautiful moon, which he cannot.
So for me, I was thinking like, in the whole night, darkness, moon
Hmm.
is the only thing which shines, stands out,
Huh.
something which illuminates.
Yeah,
Yeah. So in
yeah.
the darkness, the light that the moon brings,
Huh.
that kind of thing probably, that is something really valuable, probably. I mean, like, I
Hmm,
just,
hmm, hmm.
my thoughts went on those lines. And that is not something which he can give that to, that is not something which the thief can steal, or
Hmm.
it's not something which he can offer to the thief also,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Light in the darkness,
Yes, yes, yes.
maybe. But I also resonate with what Kumaran sir and Shikya ma'am told
Hmm.
about the beauty and the material
Absolutely.
things as such.
Yeah.
Material things can be given away, but the beauty as conceived by the person who is actually, see, the way you see it and the way I see it, we can't really express it in words. The way
Yes.
I perceive it and I express it, as you say,
Yes,
filtered.
yes, yes.
It is filtered.
It
So
is
the way we
filtered. At
both
the same
see
time, it
it
is
is
reflected
different.
also. It is filtered
Yes,
and
yes,
reflected.
yes.
It is not,
Reflect.
absorbing. It's not like black hole where everything is lost. It is reflecting. That's
Right.
the beauty of the moon,
Right.
which
Yeah.
gives
So
out.
Ajit
that's what
sir?
I thought.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Please.
What a wonderful short story, but powerful
Very powerful.
meaning to it. My understanding is very simple.
Hmm.
I feel that this gentleman sitting there,
Hmm.
giving away the last item that he owns, his own clothes. He
Yeah.
becomes
Yeah.
naked and
Yeah.
he gives away that. And
Huh.
then he's thinking,
Huh.
if
What
only I
more?
could steal this moon, I would have given that to him.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
his large heartedness and
Yes.
his
Yes.
sense of charity. If I had a one piece of cloth on me, I wouldn't
Huh.
give it away. Definitely
Huh.
not.
Of course, no
Isn't
one
it?
will do that. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
That's
So
beautiful.
it's just it's his
It's
maybe
his state of
charity
mind. Yeah.
personified or something. He just wants to give
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and be and have the peace with him. So that's how I feel the story that the story reflects.
Beautifully
I may
said,
or may
ma'am.
not be right.
No, beautifully.
Thank you.
There's no right and wrong, of course. This
But an
beautifully
amazing story. It is amazing. I mean, we should probably think about it more in our own lives.
our own,
And
yeah, exactly.
exactly, that's
And
maybe that
as
moon's reflection.
uh,
It should be in our lives. The
yeah,
reflection of the moon. The
actually,
bigger
ma'am,
things, instead of
as
giving things which are easily giving away, we can give a lot of things which we can easily give. But those things which we cannot be given, when you
yeah,
give it away, is when the true charity comes in, I believe.
yeah. Actually, when ma'am was saying about this thing, giving away the last thing, something which reflected in me also, I would like to share that this cloth is nothing but it is a limited thing. It represents a lot of to a lot of people. It is scarcity actually. Cloth is a basic need. Even that he is ready to take when the monk offers. That's clearly a sign of scarcity. But then the person who gives it away, he is not in a scarcity mindset because he has the entire moon he owns. He's not separated from the moon. Could probably be the wisdom he possesses, or could be his emotions, emotional states, or what is the empathy or higher emotions that he possesses, which even he is ready to give, but then it cannot be given because there is no receiver. Because you should have something to receive when he has to give now. He is ready to give, his empathy is there, but this person takes it and runs away, is what the story says. So he's not no more there to receive what he has to give. He has immense wisdom, treasure of wisdom, which he doesn't want. So he is in the state of abundance even when his last thing is lost, which is a really beautiful reflection, ma'am. Thank you so much for saying that.
I also felt something similar, but that when he gives away even the last piece of clothing, it signifies that I mean, that's the character of the monk, right?
Yes,
I mean, he
yes.
has no desires. He doesn't need anything.
Yes.
So he can give it away. He can just give it away.
Simply give it away. Yeah.
And another character which brings out the monk's character is compassion. So
Yes.
even after the thief comes and steals everything, he still says, "Oh, poor chap, poor fellow."
Yes, yes.
So he understands about him and he has his compassion. That's another typical character of a monk, right?
Exactly. Poor fellow. He exactly says that because he know that that person is just limited person who is in the level of scarcity. He need even the cloth. He can't leave that even when it is offered.
Yeah.
It's really because in terms of mindset he is poor, in terms of in all the way he's poor, and he feels literally he feels kind of what you say. Uh, I don't think it is a compassion or something. I'm not getting the exact word what he feels about his. Maybe he is feeling pity about the person. He's feeling pity about this thief. As to how limited he is.
Compassion is typically a Buddhist monk's trait, right?
Of course.
Compassion is when he understands how the other person feels, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's more than pity; it is compassion. I think.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway,
It is compassion
words.
only. It is
As
a
long as
higher
we
state of
understand what it
compassion,
is.
not pity. It is a higher state of compassion. Very true, ma'am. Thank you. It's not pity.
I think, just to add one more
Yes.
point of view,
Yeah.
the same page what you said.
Huh.
See, the thief lives in his own state, right? So he thinks that acquisition of certain things can make his life, and he is on that.
Huh.
On the other person, you see a monk or something who is beyond all these things, that acquisition of these things cannot give. There is something beyond this, which he tries to do with the nature or something. And I think in the practical world also, right? So there are some things which cannot be stolen, your knowledge. So you are investing in your knowledge and the material things which can be always perishable.
So that thing of that materialism, that dichotomy of materialism material scarcity and the natural abundance is beautifully, kind of that contrasted like a picture, like a beautiful painting. It is present in the story is what I also feel. That contrast between the material, what is a scarcity or limit.
Yeah, I think each story has brought it out, no? Each story brings out about it.
And another thing which I might have missed out again, moon has a lot of significance in Zen traditions. A moon is again, some of you might be knowing more about this, like the yin and yang tradition. Moon is the moon symbol is of yin, that is the female, the femininity, and and that actually embraces this limitedness also. It is not of discarding limitedness. It is not of like in some of the traditions we might have heard even in India that vairagya. I don't know the exact word in Sanskrit. This is like that we leave. No, I don't want. That is not actually the thing. It's again you have, but bare minimum you have material, and with that you just be and flourish. You achieve more of that which is abundant or unlimited. So that beauty of limited and unlimited.
Also, Ajit,
yeah, that is.
Ajit, also, I'm sorry, Kai, sorry to cut you off. Finish it and then I'll talk.
No, I've done.
No, moon is also something that rules over our mind also. Like the lunar cycles, they say, like in our tradition, the full moon, like it affects the mind, they say, right? It has a power even in our astrology, right? If you're ruled by moon, then your mind is at work more than usual. So that has controlling power over your mind as well.
Very true, ma'am. Very true. That moon is that softer creativity that we holds. Even lunar, as ma'am was saying, lunar and lunatic are so close.
Right.
Lunatic is an extreme of
comes from lunar. Lunatic comes from lunar.
It could be coming from lunar only, because it's an eccentricity which you can. Eccentricity means it has a limit. It has an extreme. It goes beyond that. It is much beyond that. So moon is truly an abundance, a true abundance. I feel like my personal kind of metaphor for moon is like a sea or an ocean on the land.
On the sky
or on the land. Exactly. And it is subtler than ocean, or water is more dense, whereas this is more and more subtle.
Yeah, and all pervading sort of.
All pervading. Yes. Don't feel like moving from this story, but still we'll have to move to another story now.
It's actually now 8:12. There's another session at 8:30.
8:30. So
maybe we can finish one more by then.
One more. Let me just see if I have one more story.
Okay, if there's a small one, we'll do that.
Last poem of ocean. Okay, let's have on a lighter note. I'll just read another one. This is also the state of mind of a Zen master views. It is not very short, but it's short only. The story is named "Is That So?" Doesn't require much reflection. Beautifully. The Zen master Hakuin. Hakuin is one of the very famous Zen masters. Was praised by his neighbors as one living a pure life. A beautiful Japanese girl with whose parents owned a food store near where he lived. Suddenly, without any warning, her parents discovered she with a child. This made her parents very angry. She was of course unmarried. She would not confess who the man was. But after such harassment, at last she named Hakuin. In great anger, the parents went to the master and asked about this thing. Then this master, he is famous for this thing. Is that so? He was just asking that only. Was all what he would say. After the child was born, it was brought to Hakuin. By this time, he had lost his reputation in the community, which did not trouble him. He was not at all bothered, but he took very good care of the child. He obtained milk from his neighbors and everything else the little one needed. A year later, the child's mother, could stand it no longer. She told her parents the truth. The real father of the child was a young man who worked in the fish market. The mother and the father of the girl at once went to Hakuin to ask his forgiveness, to apologize at length, and to get the child back again. Hakuin was willing. In yielding the child, all that he said was, "Is that so?" That's the story. Is that so? That's the name of the story. Anything if you would like to say with that, maybe we can close our today's session. It clearly shows the state of the mind of the Zen master, almost like the one who left his last thing which he could leave.
Yeah, it's like saying "Apdiya."
Apdiya. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
The only thing which comes to my mind is that so?
Is that so? It doesn't need a reflection.
All of us are thinking in the same level now.
Yeah, exactly. Is that so? And appropriately titled also. So with this, maybe we can stop today's session. Anything, Jayanti ma'am, please.
You can go on for another 10 minutes, no problem. It's only
no. I was just. It's such an amazing story, so simple and such simple language. Wonderful. Thank you, Ajit sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. If we can take one more story, I will read rather than reflecting.
Sure.
Because this is of the disciple of Hakuin himself. One another story is their 25th story. So it must be connected. It is like we go with the lineage that way. Let me just quickly get into that. There are a lot of beautiful stories are there, of course. 25. This also doesn't require much reflection. It is like the wave story only, almost like the wave story. The story is named 3 Days More. Suibo, the disciple of Hakuin, was a good teacher. During one summer seclusion period, a pupil came to him from a southern island of Japan. Suibo gave him the problem: hear the sound in one hand. The pupil remained 3 years but couldn't pass this test. With one hand he should hear the sound, one hand clap or something. One night he came in tears to Suibo. "I must return south in shame and embarrassment," he said, "for I cannot solve my problem. Wait 1 week more and meditate constantly." Advised Suibo. Still no enlightenment came to the pupil. "Try for another week," said Suibo. The pupil obeyed, but in vain. Still another week. Yet this was no avail. In despair, the student begged to be released, but Suivo requested another meditation for 5 days. They were without result. Then he said, "Meditate for 3 days longer. Then if you fail to attain enlightenment, and you better kill yourself." On the second day, the pupil got enlightened. That's the story. 3 days more. Just a 2-minute story. Anything to ponder on?
The enlightenment came because otherwise he had to kill himself.
Yeah, exactly. It's a similar story actually.
I didn't get a little bit in the first 2 lines that you read.
Yes.
I'm not sure. The first 2 lines. Could you just read them again?
Just
the 2 lines.
The first one. The start of the story.
Yeah.
Suivo, the disciple of Hakuin. Hakuin is the one who we discussed before. He's that soap master. Was a good teacher. During the summer seclusion period, a pupil came to him from a southern island of Japan.
Okay.
So he gave him a problem: hear the sound of one hand. Generally, that is
What does
very.
it mean? Sound of one hand means?
Actually, in Zen tradition, we used to say that the sound comes only if
We
there
need
are
two hands.
two hands. But in Zen tradition, it is a very common thing, like hearing the sound of one hand clapping. Without another hand, you could hear the sound. It's again a metaphoric. It's again a metaphorical meditative exercise, which generally Zen masters say or give. This was the task given to him, which he was not able to accomplish all these times. It is not to prove that one hand sounds or something.
Yeah.
That's where this even illusion. The Zen masters use a lot of illusion for enlightenment.
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Anything to reflect on this? This is again another beautiful story. This is actually. I would say these are poems rather than stories. These are like proper poems. Ashi, would you like to maybe before just one word or something about the story?
No, it's like all of them, Aju. It's so short and sweet and so thought provoking actually. And to hear everybody speak about their thoughts, it's even more interesting,
Yeah.
The way each of our thoughts go in different direction.
Yes.
That's very it's very fascinating, I should say.
Yes.
Beautiful collection. Ritu. Are you going to continue with this
Maybe we
later
can
on?
plan. Maybe
Are
we
there
can
more
plan.
stories?
Maybe we can plan
Yes,
because there's
yes,
so many
he
stories in
is.
this.
Okay.
Yes, Ajit, you are.
Yeah.
We'll see how.
I hope so.
Yeah, because it's nice. I mean, like short and crisp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Like, it's nice.
Because I.
Thanks, Ajit. Thank you so much.
Welcome, sure. So, if nothing, over to you, Lakshmi ma'am.
Anybody else? Would anyone else like to say anything?
It was very good, Ajit. It
Yeah,
was like a little Zen practice itself, listening to these stories.
Yes.
It's very nice. Created a lot of interest, at least for me, to go and read a little bit more.
I'll share this
Zen.
book, a soft copy in the group. I'll share this.
Oh, that'll be great. That'll be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are very short stories, so everyone can read it.
That'll be great.
Thank you,
yeah.
Kumar.
Really,
Thank you.
feel like pearls of wisdom, I should say.
Ayyo, really.
And it was, and and what Ashita said, it's also the analyzing it together and bringing out our own thoughts.
Ma'am, I would sorry to interrupt. I would like to hear you saying this is reflection more than an analysis.
Okay.
Because analysis comes with a lot of logic. All these gurus, Zen gurus, they defy logic actually. They do all this nonsense. Some of the stories, if you read,
So Ajit, probably they reflected. We are actually analyzing.
we
I don't know
reflect.
whether we can equate ourselves to
we
Zen gurus where
no,
we
the
reach
way
that level. No, I'm
not
just
really.
kidding.
Not really. Actually, we also need to actually reflect on the story.